And welcome, guys and girls, of course. Thanks for tuning into the episode number 2 of Frontend Workflow. Today we're gonna talk about CSS automation with GulpJS. In the previous episode, I showed you things with npm, NodeJS, Gulp, Bower, and of course Git. Today I would like to show you some things with automating your workflow with CSS. In this video we're gonna check out how you can create a gulp file, how you can easily create minified versions of your CSS file, and after that we're gonna show you how to merge multiple CSS files into one single file, and in the end we're gonna show you how you can automatically refresh your browser when you hit save for a CSS file or HTML file, just like you want it. But in this episode we're gonna show you everything with CSS. In the future episodes we will show a lot of other stuff, but only this time we're gonna show you how to automate your workflow with CSS. For this video I've created a presentation. I will include that on the blog and also inside the video on YouTube, so you can check it out. Before we start, make sure, if you don't know how to install Node.js, npm or Gulp, check out the first episode where I dive in how to install them. So in this episode I assume you know how to install Node.js and npm and that you already did it. Beside that we need a package.json. I'm also showed you that in the first episode. If you don't know how to do it, check out that first episode so you know how to do it. I've already created my package.json. So inside it, CSS automation GulpJS is the project name, my name of course, and version number. I don't need that version number right now, but it's all already included as the default. So let's start with creating a gulp file. A gulp file is the file that Gulp is going to search for on your computer or on your project where you're launching Gulp in the terminal. But before we create that file, you need to make sure that you install Gulp and BrowserSync. So if you don't know how to do it, just run your terminal. You can use a different application than me. I've also one like here and also one in my editor. Most of the time I'm using the one in the editor. So you can simply just copy the command. This one with sudo before it is only for Mac and Linux users. If you have a Windows, just skip the sudo and the rest will install it. Let's go back to my editor. I've already installed it, but yeah, I'm gonna show you right now how you can install it. So check it out. It is installing, so we can continue. And for the gulp file we need several packages. We need gulp in a local folder. We're just now installing it globally, so in your file of the computer, so you can run gulp in every project you want, but this is locally. We need gulp clean CSS, we need gulp concat CSS and BrowserSync. All these packages, you can install them at once, and don't forget the save def. The save def, just like I mentioned here below, you can, if you use that, the packages automatically will be added to your package.json. So, BrowserSync is already installed, gulp also, so let's paste in that command, and now we're gonna install these packages locally in our project. So it's installing, and it's in a couple of seconds you can see a node modules folder with all these node packages inside it. In the meantime, we can continue with creating the gulp file. The gulp file where all the magic happens. You can just copy and paste the code I have in the presentation, and let's create a new. My computer doesn't like all these things. Let's create a JavaScript file, and we call it gulpfile.js. And OK. So it's now really busy with installing all these packages. So let's wait a minute that my computer is focusing on the right things. And all these packages are installed, as you can see. So if we open up the package.json, you can see all these packages. We're gonna need them in this project. So in the next time, if you deleted the node modules and run npm install again, then all these packages will be back in the node modules folder. That's clear. Now we don't need to clear that up. We need to paste this in, and inside the terminal, let's clear it up. So we have copied and pasted the code in it, and we need to create a directory for the source of the CSS, and we call it source src, and in that src folder we're gonna create a file called CSS, of course, and inside that we're gonna create a style sheet called style.css. You can name it whatever you want. Let's add some CSS to it. Let's add a padding 1em and a background, and that is gray. Let's keep it like that. So for here we required gulp. Gulp is a node module required, checked out if you have node module called gulp inside your node modules folder. If so, you can use this as a variable. And gulp has a function called task. Here we specify the name, and here we specify the function of that task. We start with gulp src, our source folders, and we specify the path to our CSS file. After that, we create a pipe function, and in that pipe function we declare the gulp destination function with also the path to our destination. So you will, after running gulp CSS, enter, you're gonna see that there will be a dist folder, a resource, a CSS, and style.css file. This task is super simple. This is only copying your file to the dist resource CSS folder. So, how to create a minified version of your CSS, and after that, let's automate it. So, we need gulp clean CSS. We're gonna define that after gulp, and after gulp we're gonna create another pipe function, and in that pipe function we're gonna call the clean CSS function. Just have to write code. So it's gonna take the source. After that it will use that source and run the clean CSS JavaScript function over it and place that CSS file as end result inside this folder. So if we're saving this and running gulp CSS again, you will find out that this file is being minified. So let's add some extra, and we're gonna create a content class with an h1, and we want to have a really big font size called 5em. And after we change the file of the CSS, we run it again, gulp CSS, and we will see it's minified with everything inside of it. So that's the part of minifying your CSS file, and after that minifying, it's being copied in the resource CSS folder. So let's automate this and make it super easy, and don't repeat yourself anymore with after time and time again adding this gulp CSS function. It's all, if you want to save time, please automate your workflow. It will really at the start will cost some time, but in the end it will save a lot of time. For gulp we have a default task, and the default task is running when you just hit gulp. And after that we will run CSS, just the CSS task. And inside that default task we have a gulp watch event, and that's is gonna watch the style.css, and when it's changed it's gonna run this function again. So let's try it out. Run the gulp file, and I see it's keep on hanging, and it is not wrong, it is completely right. So we're gonna add something new to the content, and we're gonna add a paragraph, and that font size we want to have we want to have 1.5 em, and hit save. When I was hitting save, you saw it is starting again the CSS task. So if we're now checking out this file, it is adding the P to the minified version. But change it back to 1 em. It's running again, and if you check out the minified version, it's also changed. So we now have automate the minifying of your CSS file. So in this slide you can watch it back again, and I will explain what it does and what it where is your file going to be copied after. So it's launching a watch event, checking your changes of your CSS file, and after the changes it will run the CSS task again. So now we're gonna merge the multiple CSS files into one file, because a lot of people using the Bootstrap or Foundation framework or Normalize that are mostly multiple CSS files, but if you're loading them in your head, in your HTML, it will cost a lot more time than when you merge everything into one file. So we're gonna bundle everything up in one file. For this we need the gulp concat CSS task. Let's close this and open the gulp file and add concat CSS to the gulp file. Let's delete the dist file so we can see our output. So after the source, we first need to merge the CSS into one file. So we're doing that with creating a pipe function, and inside that pipe function we're calling the concat CSS function. Inside of that we're defining the name. So let's call it bundle.css. Save it. And now the watch event is still running. If you want to kill this, you press Ctrl C. It is the same for Mac, for Linux and for Windows. So try Ctrl C by clicking in your terminal, and then the task will be ended. So we're gonna launch back gulp, and now you can see it is having a bundle, but we need to add a new CSS file to it. So in the source we're gonna create an array. Array is just a couple of strings or objects, but we're not gonna dive into that. It's just defining multiple CSS files. Let's name that second.css and create in our source folder a style sheet called second.css, and add there a header style, and in the header we have a logo and the max width, max width 50 pixels. So that is the styling of our second CSS. So now it is gonna grab the style.css, second.css, and gonna paste that into bundle CSS. Paste it, merge. So let's delete this again, and after that we will run gulp again. So it's watching our changes, and we have also a header and we have a navigation. And we want to have that max width of 700 pixels. Save. But now you can see second.css doesn't have any watch task. So it's only checking the changes of the style.css. So with replacing style with this mark, we are checking all the changes of all the style of all the CSS files, whatever name it has. So fire up gulp and make this not 700 but make it 750. Save it, and now it's running again CSS task. And if you're checking inside that, we have a bundle CSS, and the bundle CSS, if we open up, we have all the changes of that CSS file from second.css and from style.css inside of it. And if you now add just just remove the paragraph out of it, hit save, and it's running again. Check your bundle.css and it's completely removed. So that's the thing with merging multiple CSS files into one. In the slide I've explained you, so you can watch that again. Now we're gonna do the last thing, and the last thing is refreshing your browser automatically. It's super simple, so it's gonna save you a lot of time. First we're gonna create an index.html. That index.html is gonna be in the root folder. It's gonna be in the root folder, but my mouse doesn't want it. Let's create it like this, HTML, and it is an index.html, and paste in HTML. It's just a simple page with inside the CSS to the dist folder, bundle CSS. So if we're gonna continue, we need the BrowserSync package. BrowserSync is super awesome. It's gonna save you a lot of time. So let's create the BrowserSync variable. And for that we need also a serve task. And this serve task is going to set up a local host server, and inside server you can specify the path to src or dist if you have your HTML in dist, or I'll leave it like this, just the root folder, because my HTML should be in it, but it isn't. It is in this file. So refactor and move that. It should not be in the dist folder. Let's get it back to the root. So now we have our index.html in the right folder, and we also need another watch task that's gonna watch the changes of the HTML files. And if you're checking index.html, you can replace index with this mark, and after all the HTML files are saved, it will be refreshing the browser. So we set that up. Also we need to include the serve function in the default, otherwise you don't have a localhost server. So we added that, and with that we need to run gulp. And with running gulp, it will be launching your favorite browser. And with your favorite browser, it's opening localhost 3000. You have also an IP address, so you can use that like you want. But on my local computer, I use localhost, and it's serving the files from the root, so it's opening the index.html. So, but now we want to make a change for it and watch the CSS change inside the browser. We're gonna do it in the style.css, and we're gonna add body. Set body. And in the body, we want to have a background. Let's do it red, and the color needs to be right. Hit save. Your browser should refresh. doesn't work. It is not refreshing. Why? We forgot something. The thing we forgot is inside here. We forgot to add this pipe. After the CSS task is done, we need to launch the stream function. So let's do it again. Run gulp, and now it is red, of course, but we want just blue. Hit save. It is saved. Let's make this gray. Save, and the text will be gray. So this is gonna save you a lot of time. So if we can continue with the presentation, let's see, did I forget something? No, I didn't forget. The only thing I want to mention is for now, check your IP address in your terminal, and if you use that, paste it on your mobile device when connecting your mobile device to the Wi-Fi, and also when you hit save on the CSS, the mobile browser will also be refreshed. So I hope this makes a lot of sense to everyone. I hope you really enjoy this. I want to thank you for watching this. If you have some comments or questions, put them below on the blog or under the YouTube video, and I will looking forward to see your comments back, and I will see you next time with the next episode. See you later.